I'm Ilya. Welcome to my brand new weekly extravaganza. 90 days to hit that or quit that. This is going to be a sort of 90 Days Fiance variety show with snarky comments and sometimes insights because I've spent a lot of time in some of the countries involved. This seems to happen most seasons. And there will be songs, partially original. I am a lyricist, but the music is going to be borrowed. I mean, even Randy Rainbow makes his own lyrics and uses, the karaoke tracks to other songs. So that's okay. Not that I'm claiming to be Randy Rainbow. He's a god. So it's going to sort of be a snarky goulash about commentary on all these improbable relationships, the passive-aggressive fights that tend to come out, the plain old aggressive fights that tend to come out, the clout chasing. Oh God, yes, the clout chasing. Plenty of that every season. I have been a fan of 90 Days Fiance. Shout out to Rebecca Joseph, my Malu friend, who turned me onto the show originally a few years ago. And thanks to Miss Rebecca Joseph, I have been through the good, the bad, and the ugly of 90 Days Fiance and all of its various spin-offs and bastard children. So, what I would like to remind you is this is the very first 90 Days Hit That or Quit That show, which means it's my first YouTube video, which means how'd you like to be my first subscriber? I pretty much guarantee that my first subscribers and my first comments are definitely going to hear back from me because right now I'm at zero, which I would like to turn into my love for you. So I really mean it when I say subscribe. I really mean it when I say like or dislike, comment. You can say lovely things, which I much prefer. You can say nasty things. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I'm 58 years old. So at this point, the bitch she's got a thick skin. There's a difference between constructive negative comments or differences of opinion and actual trolling. Trolls are going to kind of get, flushed. Not that I'm inviting them, but, just so you know. Again, I'm too old for that. I just can't. Oh, tonight's show is brought to you by wine. Every show every week is probably going to be brought to you by wine. This is a lovely J Vineyards Pinot Noir. I think it's a 2012. I haven't had a sip yet, so l'chaim. Nice. Big ups to my BFF Pat Kirkish for turning me on to J Vineyards. She lives in Sonoma. Okay. So as I said, we're going to have, not on every show, but throughout the course of, should be every week, we're going to have a sort of snarky commentary, some serious commentary, some cultural insights into the countries that we're dealing with, because again, I am a well-traveled bitch. So it's kind of been my thing. Travel's kind of been my thing since I was first allowed to leave the country unaccompanied when I was 18. I've pretty much been the whole way. I love children. I do not have children. I have cats. And this has permitted me to do this travel thing throughout my adult life, which I'm grateful for. A little bit more about me. I have a doctorate in history, specifically the history of religion. I was a professor. I was a history professor at Florida Atlantic University. And I loved that. But now I am retired because I am, again, old and just enjoying traveling and volunteering. I have been volunteering with children with cerebral palsy with a biofeedback program. However, COVID closed that clinic. So now the same place, Miami Jewish Health Services, where I was volunteering there, I'm now going to volunteer with the kind of end-stage Alzheimer's patients because I found that I have a good way with people who seem to be not all there, and it just involves a lot of times music from their period, whatever their period is. So I'm not, like I said, my PhD is in history, specifically the sociology of religion. So I am in no way a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a gerontologist, but I don't think you have to be a genius to know that music really gets to people's hearts and stirs something in their brains. So I'm not going to do this. This is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this kind of stuff. I just want you to know a little bit about me. And again, I'm very grateful for all the things that I've been able to do. And at this point in my life, I just felt like maybe I had something to say. I've never been shy. It's a little bit of a theater geek. I've always done, some theater, some singing, this and that here and there. And oh, I know what you need to know about me, because this will make you hate me. I was that annoying person who did the pledge drives for PBS. Yes, if you lived in the Palm Beach, Boca Raton area, and you watched WXEL in the 90s, when you were trying to enjoy whatever show you were watching, or the McNeil-Lehrer News Hour at the time, which was at the time the best news program, or whatever types of shows you were watching on PBS, there would be this annoying woman with kind of long, unfortunate permed hair and bangs, I'm sorry, who would come on wearing a kind of a very working girl kind of suit and telling you that you should donate money to PBS. That was me. I was the pledge drive girl woman. So anyway, all right, enough about me. We need to get on to something more important. First of all, I want to start out tonight. We're not really going to jump right into 90 Days the Other Way, because even though we're in the closing, dying moments of 90 Days Fiance the other day, I feel that this last season was such a train wreck and so fake. I mean, wow. I know this is probably going to get worse as time goes by, but I hope not. I hope the producers realize, and they know the value of couples like David and Annie, who seem initially inappropriate, or like this would not really work, and then they end up really being a great couple. And there are obviously many other couples that are truly in love. So I hope we get a few of these, because this last season was just ghastly. 90 Day Fiancé the other day was just depressing. And I would now like you to go on a little journey with me through the cast of 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. And I'm going to touch on each character. I say character, not cast member, because these were characters. These were definitely, yeah, in a good or bad way, they were characters. Okay. All right, the cast of 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, this last season, in 9 words or less. I'm just a country boy who reenacts serial killers. Why everybody say wait to see rap sheet? Well, William sounds British to me. No. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Baby girl Lisa plus Soldier Boy equals dumpster fire. I'm not really interesting. I make salad. Men provides, woman opens her legs, problem solved. Chasing clout, pretending you're bi, it's really hard. Well, she got her tits out on Instagram. This is from one side. And now 180 degrees view from the other side. Okay. Okay. Me. My brother's dead. Me. Me. Milan Fashion Week. Me. Actually, you know what? I had a couple more props. Damn it. See, I have so much to learn. This was supposed to be, let me do that one again because we need the prop. Okay. No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And sorry, I forgot another one. This was really good. Keep up with me, people. Stick with me. I'll learn. I'll learn. Okay. Well, she got her tits out on Instagram. Okay, that's it. And that's the cast of 90 Days Fiance before the 90 days in 9 words or less. Now, let's get to 90 Day Fiance the Other Way, Season 2. By the way, I'm wearing this lovely dupatta, which I bought in the market, in Lajpat Nagar Market in Delhi, in honor of Jenny and Sumit. I spend a lot of time in India every year. I go there like 3 times a year. I have a lot of wonderful friends in Delhi, in Rampur, in Nainital up in the mountains. Shout out. I think they're probably too busy. I don't think they're gonna be, I don't know. I don't even know if I wanna tell them about this yet. They're very nice, but I don't know. So we are not gonna start with Jenny and Sumit. We're gonna go in order. So we're gonna start out with Yazan and Brittany. Okay, Yazan is 24. He is from Amman, Jordan, and he works in a small family business. If he works in a small family business, Amman is, it's not a super cheap city, so you know, if they have a decent sized family apartment, I'm gonna say that his family is very middle class. Obviously they're very traditional. He's traditional Muslim. And Amman is a really interesting city. It's not the most beautiful Arab or Muslim city that I've been to, but there's something very exciting about it. There's a lot of commerce. It's got an amazing gold souk. Wow, the gold souk in Amman is one of the best. And they just sell gold there by weight, so you don't have to worry about being ripped off. I mean, if you go in the government gold souk, they're not gonna pass off something as 22 or 23 karat. unless it is. And you're going to get the weight that you paid for, or else those people are going to be, you know, in jail. They take it very seriously in all those countries, the Emirates, Jordan, Egypt, all those countries. Oman is, it has a veneer of modernity about it, but this is what I kind of always go by, is I would say that probably 90% of the women are wearing hijab. Their heads are covered, and they're covered, you know, a lot of them in black. It's not as high of a percentage as, say, a country like Saudi, where it's, you know, required, or the other Emirates, but Oman is definitely, most people are, you know, traditional Muslim, and they do follow Sharia law. And clearly Yazan is, you know, of that ilk, as any normal boy his age would be. He's 24 years old. Okay, so then we meet Brittany. Oh, girl crush. Yeah, I know she's got the whole Cardi B, Nicki Minaj look going. I don't care. I don't care how much of it's real and how much of it's fake. The results are adorable. She's adorable. Her braces are adorable. You know, is she a little clout chaser? A little Instagram girl? Yeah, of course she is. Fine, go, do it, you know, fine. She is, you know, typically dates men who are much older. I think she's going for the rich guys who are in their 80s. So the braces are probably a big plus there for their schoolgirl fantasy. But she, you know, she lives her own life. She's living her best life. She's very bubbly. She's very, she just seems really cute. She seems like a nice girl, like a fun girl. And again, no judgment on what she chooses to show or not show her body, or things that have turned up and whatever about, you know, who cares? Now, there is a more problem. There are some big problems here. I'm going to go ahead and go with the first one, which we actually don't find out right away. Now, the first one is, she married. That calls for a sip. Okay. Girlfriend fell in love with a Haitian boy. They got married, and he was deported. I live in Miami, so these stories break my heart because I've lived here since I was 20 years old, when dinosaurs roamed. Tyrannosaurus rexes roamed I-95 in South Beach. That's how long I've been here. I've been here so long. I was here for the cocaine cowboy days, like for real, kind of like the Scarface days. I was here. So I've seen the city change a lot. But anyway, I've been here so long that I have known real life situations like that, where people who have lost their loves because of deportation, and it's, you know, it's horrible. I don't know his exact story, but whenever someone says that, my heart always goes, okay, now, does it sound like she's dying of loss for him? No, she tends to forget that she's been married and that she's not divorced yet. You know, I don't, my husband's a lawyer, I should know this, but he doesn't practice that kind of law. He practices human rights law. In fact, oh my God, big shout out to my husband. I probably shouldn't say his name on this channel, but you might be able to find it if you look this up. Today, the Supreme Court passed a law stating that sexual orientation is no longer an appropriate cause for firing anyone, according to Title VII. My husband had an original case that was an air traffic controller, a good friend of ours, who became a good friend of ours, who was treated badly and denied promotions because he was gay. And he was openly gay, and he would talk about it to other people at work. And this is in Miami, the gayest city outside Key West, San Francisco, or Palm Springs, or Laguna Beach, which is where I grew up. I grew up in Laguna Beach. So, I mean, I'm just like, what? You know, anyway, it was a very toxic workplace for him. So he successfully sued, and they changed the law that people in the federal workplace could not be fired because of sexual orientation. And that was my husband's case. So I love him for that so much, because again, I grew up in Laguna Beach, where everyone came out when they were 13. I'm exaggerating, but you know, gay rights have been LGBTQ, you know, that's been my jam since I was very young. And so today, the Supreme Court was asked to decide whether this should be extended to all employment, and it has been. So now it is against federal law to discriminate in the workplace or on any level of government, not just in the government workplace, but in the non-governmental workplace, in the private workplace. You cannot be fired for being who you are. So this is getting longer than I intended before I'm actually getting into this, but this just happened today, so give me a break, I gotta say something. So cheers to the hubby and to all the people that helped pave this road, who suffered, who struggled, who didn't give up, who fought to make this possible. It's amazing. It's actually it's a good day. There's been so many terrible things going on in this country. I mean, it's been so hideous and so divided, and I'm glad that there are hopefully changes, and I'm glad at the power of the Black Lives Matter movement, and it needs to get bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. But this is another civil rights that I feel like it's all connected. It's just, no human being is better than any other human being because of how they look or what their religion is or because of whom they choose to love. Forget that. All right, so back to Yasmin and Brittany. Oh, did I take a sip? L'chaim. I was raised Irish Catholic and I'm Jewish now. That's a story for another time. Okay. All right, so one thing that I like about Yasmin and Brittany is they had a very cute meeting that I think is real. She was visiting her sister in Chicago, and her sister's upstairs neighbor, I think, was talking to her brother in Amman, and Brittany walked by the computer screen, or the FaceTime on the phone, and he looked at her and was like, "Who's that?" And then she kind of looked on the phone or whatever, the iPad or whatever, and she was like, "Who's that?" He's a cutie too. They're definitely on, looks-wise, they're on a par. He has very deep-set eyes, which is different, but no, they're cute. They're definitely really cute. Okay, now, besides the fact that Brittany is already married, which is going to go over like a ton of bricks obviously with Yazan. No one likes being deceived. And the "I forgot" isn't going to work. I mean, I'm sorry. However, I think he'd probably get over that. But the problem is he thinks that she is going to come and she's going to be so enchanted by Islam that she's going to grow to love it and accept it and embrace it and convert, because it's easier, and for a couple, it's important for the father to be Muslim. The wife can be something else and convert. In fact, very often converts are almost looked up to. Same with Judaism. So the problem is, I think that she's the type that she just wants everything to be nice. She just wants everything to be cute. She's a Barbie. She's a 7-layer cake. I don't know what's in all those 7 layers. We'll have to maybe try and divine that. But she, I don't think she's not really a religious person to begin with. Which some people would say, oh, well, that's easier than if she were really like a devout Catholic or a Christian or a Mormon or something. You'd never get her to convert. But yeah, I mean, it does happen. But in my experience, the kind of women that tend to convert are women who were already, who kind of liked that male-dominated, male-centric household, and white girls from countries like England or Scotland who tended to be, oh, this is going to sound horrible, almost a little on the mousy side. A lot of times when I see, gringas wearing full hijab in places like Qatar and all the different Muslim countries I've been to, a lot of times they're kind of like little sort of mousy, blue-eyed, blonde, little petite, skinny. I don't see her embracing that life. Now, she looked so cute when they showed a kind of a future picture of her in hijab. She was wearing the head wrap, and then she had like a cute striped slip dress with a long sleeve, high neck shirt under it. Oh, she was rocking that. I mean, she would be such a pretty hijabi. because in a country like Jordan, it's not like Saudi where they're all, covered. In a country like Jordan, you will be, your hair and your, body will be covered, but you might have one of those cute abayas that ties under the bust, so it's not just like a tent. Also, your makeup is going to be on point. I'm telling you, I saw women in Amman that were like, their makeup was so on point, so beautiful, their eyes incredible, nails perfect, gorgeous sandals, Yves Saint Laurent handbags. There's a lot of that. Believe me, you can rock the hijabi look. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can definitely be very stylish, and especially in the countries that allow hijab in different colors, like Pakistan, you'll see them all different colors. So, but I don't see it. And that, come on, that's so fundamental. This is not America. This is not America where love conquers all and Romeo and Juliet and we come together even though, she's Jewish and he's Muslim, or she's Seventh-day Adventist and he's, look, I'm telling you, in the real world, this is very, very very unusual, and would have a very, very low rate of succeeding. His parents would accept her if she immediately got married, embraced Islam, started going to temple, started learning how to cook from the mother, immediately wholeheartedly went in and embraced that lifestyle. Don't think that they'll shut people out. They will embrace you. Muslims will. But I don't see it with Brittany. Maybe she'll prove me wrong. It doesn't look like it from the previews. So I'm actually giving every couple, and I'm going to change this every week if it goes up and down. I'm giving them a percentage of a chance of making it. And I'm giving Yazin and Brittany, bless them, they're both adorable. I'm giving them 9%, just because, yeah, I don't see her fitting into that world. And if she does not fit into that world, there's no way they're going to be like, oh, it's cool, this is our quirky daughter-in-law, Brittany. No. The way that it would have to work would be they would have to move to the United States. That would be cool if they would do that. But he's already kind of, I think, taking over his father's business eventually, and it's possible. But that would be my guess of how it might work, is that we then see them on, what is it, I guess 90 Day Fiance, where he comes over there and she tries to get him to stay, if in fact they really fall in love. We'll see. I think they're certainly infatuated. I think they're certainly fond of each other. So we'll see. They're age appropriate, they're looks appropriate, they're religiously very inappropriate, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Now we're going to move on to Jenny and Sumit. Okay. Jenny is one of the nicest, truly nicest, most lovable people that have ever been on the 90 Days franchise, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. She's 61 years old now, almost 62. We know her from the first season of 90 Days the Other Way. And she's just all goodness. What can you say about Jenny? Nobody ever was like, oh, I hate that Jenny, she's such a bitch. I bet you nobody in her life, other than Sumit's family and his soon-to-be ex-wife, ever hated her. If in fact that, well, we'll talk about that. There is an upcoming divorce, which I think there is, but we'll get into that. Okay. Sumit is 32 now, and it's interesting. He's from Gurgaon. Okay, Gurgaon is in South Delhi. With a few exceptions, with a few poor neighborhoods, Gurgaon, South Delhi is like nouveau riche. Not necessarily super rich, it's also upper middle class, but it's nouveau riche. You talk about South Delhi girls and guys, and they're the ones that have like the kind of trendy clothes, the logo t-shirts, and they're very modern, and they're very, yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's a trendier part of Delhi. But nonetheless, you're still going to have, most families living there are still going to be traditional Hindu families, and Sumit's family is clearly a very traditional Hindu family. Okay, so there's some splaining to do here about this. Okay, again, this is not America where it's Romeo and Juliet, and no matter what, you fall in love, you make it work, it doesn't matter, you run away together. Okay, a Hindu son has many, many responsibilities that determine his karma, which determines in turn his dharma, his fate, his cycle of lives, which means that if he in fact believes in his own religion, which I'm going to say he does, I don't know that many. I mean, there are a few like trendy young Indians who are like, no, I'm too cool, I'm, you know, not really religious, but it's not super common, even in a place like Delhi. Okay, so there's two things that he needs to make sure that his karma points, if you want to look at it that way, are way up here, that his karma points are, you know, where they should be for him to come to his next life in a beautiful condition. First of all, one of the top things that you need to do to be good with Sri Bhagwan, with God, because there are many gods and goddesses, but there's actually one, they're all forms of one main god, Sri Bhagwan. So one of the things you need to do is you need to take care of your parents. Let me say that again. You need to take care of your parents. Taking care of your parents means taking care of their physical well-being, taking care of all their needs, their financial well-being if they need it, and also their mental and religious well-being. Now, for a traditional Hindu family, which this clearly is, even if they live in a super cool condo in Gurgaon, it doesn't matter. They are clearly a traditional Hindu family. This is causing a lot of trauma to his parents. You can say what you want. You can say, but that's not fair. He should live his own life. Again, this is looking at things with cultural bias from an American perspective, from an Indian perspective, from a traditional Indian perspective. He needs to have his parents' permission, not just because it's like some kind of tyranny, but because you want them to be happy. Their well-being, again, their mental, their spiritual, their physical well-being is your responsibility. When you're little, they take care of you. As they get older, you better take care of them, unless you want to come back cleaning toilets somewhere. You don't want to miss that rule, or, you know, this obligation, this duty, which for many people is also, you know, often a pleasure. And then the other thing is, you know, the son presides over the funeral rites of his parents. So you kind of need to have a proper cremation, to have a proper, you know, funeral. Your son is supposed to preside over that. Now, some people don't have sons, they only have daughters. But there are a lot of reasons why people prize sons in India. And again, not going to get into that because there's huge problems with that. We can talk about that another time. Huge problems with that. But they don't just want sons because, oh, they have to pay all this money for their daughters to get married off, the dowries. No, they also want sons for these religious reasons and these cultural reasons, which are very, very strong. So I hope in explaining that to you, you might understand why this doesn't mean Sumit is a big baby, that he's like a big wimpy baby, which I think people are thinking, come on, why doesn't he just be a man? You see, it's a lot deeper than that. This is not America, as David Bowie sang in the 80s. I'm old, remember? Tyrannosaurus Rex on E1-2 in South Beach, that was me. So he is actually not behaving in any way, shape, or form that surprises me. As for the unhappy marriage, that is also a very common thing. Arranged marriages are not done at the point of a gun. You meet the girl, you have a chance to say no, and vice versa. Not everyone is in an arranged marriage these days. In the cities, there are some people that actually just meet somewhere else. A lot of people meet online, but you would still immediately go to get the parents' permission in most cases. Unless something was really unusual, you would still immediately want the parents' permission. And the parents might even be with you on the dating websites. Mama, you know, might be looking over your shoulder to make sure that you were looking at the right sort of girl. So the fact is, that is why he might have had, this girl might have been brought to him, and at that time, depending on, you know, what age he was probably like, well, you know, it's time to get married. She's probably, you know, she's okay looking. I don't really know her, but no one ever really, I mean, a lot of people get married without really knowing their spouse. It's supposed to be that, you know, respect and love are supposed to grow over time, which again is not an American idea. They do have a very low divorce rate in India. Yes, part of that is because of the extreme cultural and social and religious pressure not to be divorced, but some of it is because there might be something to not doing the, oh my God, I'm so in love, and getting married immediately with someone because you're hot for them. Those marriages don't always last as long. Having said that, I met my husband and married him in 33 days, and we've been married 15 years. So, You don't ever know. You just don't ever know. All right, so I want, okay, so this thing about Sumit's parents not coming to the phone. Of course they're not coming to the phone. I do believe that he's told them about her. I do believe that he's in the process of a divorce. They're not going to come to the phone. They don't ever want to see her. They don't want to meet her. They keep thinking if they go la 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 la, she's going to go away. That eventually he's going to come to his senses and go away. So I'm also trying to tell you, don't think that his boyfriends and his mates are being jerks. They're really telling him the truth. When you listen to what those friends are saying, those friends are they're speaking the truth. That are telling him, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? This is really hard. As much as I love Jenny. So how could this work again if they moved to America out of kind of the reach? But then that's so heartbreaking for Sumit to kind of abandon his parents. It's not good. It's whatever way you look at it, it's not good. So I am giving Jenny and Sumit a 25% chance of making it. That's only because I'm thinking maybe if they moved to America, but again, I don't remember if he has brothers. This is an important question. I don't know if it's been addressed. Please someone make a comment if you've heard anything about Sumit having a brother or even a sister, but especially a brother. If he's an only child, forget it. He's not going to move to America. If he's an only child, then I'm going to put that chance down at like 9%, like Yasna and Brittany. I wanted to mention one more thing. Again, giving you my little insights. Okay. I also wanted to mention that in India, divorce can be so slow. So the fact that at first there was very contentious and there were big problems between the family, and then they also have these civil suits accusing them of this and that, which is very common if a husband wants to abandon a wife. Divorces either way are very complicated. It's a very long, slow process. Every step of the way, it's like come back in 3 months. One of my dearest girlfriends in India just went through a divorce. It was a short but very unsuccessful and even abusive marriage, and it was very hard for her to get out. You will get out, but boy, do you have to be patient. It took forever. The divorce was longer than the marriage. So again, don't think that he's necessary. Oh, there's a rainbow. There's a rainbow for my first video. I'm looking out over the skyline of Miami, and there's a rainbow. It's a good sign, right? Of course, in the Torah, they say the rainbow is a sign that you should be glad that God didn't kill you today. Isn't that terrible in Jewish tradition? A rainbow, because it appeared after the flood when Noah was saved, wasn't supposed to be like, oh, rainbow, happy, happy. It was supposed to be, I'm just gonna put this here to remind you that anytime I want, I can come kill all of you. So, but I choose to look at it the kind of fairy tale Western way. I think rainbows are beautiful, and I choose to love them. So anyway, all right, so that's it for them. Okay, now we're gonna move on to, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one out of the way. Ariella. I was kind of writing some stuff, and I was kind of doing a little practice run for this, and I couldn't remember her name. Ariella is like a very common, I don't know if it's, I know a lot of Jewish girls named Ariella, and this Ariella is Jewish, nice Jewish girl. But I couldn't remember her name, so I just kept calling her white privilege. I know that's pot, kettle, meet, have you met? Yeah, obviously. I have no right to calling him white privilege, but at least I'm aware of it, and I'm also very culturally sensitive when I travel, and I'm not comfortable with Ariella, I'm not comfortable with the whole, ooh, hot black guy on the beach, look at that, look at those abs. Hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Ugh. It's like really cringy. I don't know. I guess, it happens the other way all the time, but I don't like that either. I've heard other YouTubers say that, and I think it's kind of too strong of a word, but I kind of feel like she fetishizes brown and black guys. I think the Argentinian guy, I don't know, did you get the feeling the Argentinian guy, she said was a friend, did you get the feeling he was gay and that he brought her here, so he could become American as a friend? That's the idea I got. But then again, maybe I know too many people in Miami, too many couples and too many friends gay guys who've married straight women to get their papers, who are now, productive citizens, working hard, all that. But, oh my God, the rainbow's getting brighter. Like, how usually you can barely see the purple line? The purple line is like Ash's eyes. Okay, so again, she is 28, and Binyam, or Baby, is 29. She's from Princeton. Oh my God. I am, again, pot calling the kettle black. I am from Laguna Beach, which is about as white privilege as you get, except maybe for Princeton. I mean, it's, cardiologist's daughter, and okay, I'm very judgy. This is something you need to know about me. It's my biggest flaw. I'm judgmental. I'm judgy. That's why there's going to be some snarky commentary, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think that she's one of those people who sees travel as something to kind of tick off, like, aren't I cool? So, oh, look, I'm in the outback in Ethiopia, and I'm letting a hyena take meat off a stick from between my teeth. And, I went to Argentina for 2 years. Big freaking deal. Argentina's like going to, hello. Buenos Aires it's not exactly Ethiopia. You don't get too much adventure travel cred for living in some city or some beach resort in Argentina. Sorry, I'm such a bitch. But I've lived in Africa. I've lived in Zambia. I've lived in Malawi. And I don't just go to places to like, ooh, tick that off. I've been there. I've done this. I've had this experience. I banged that guy or wherever. I mean, this is not the way I travel. I usually tend to go for long periods of time. I've traveled for work, for doing research, and I tend to want to go for a long time. Again, I know I'm being judgmental and I'm putting myself above her, but she is the kind of traveler that kind of makes me look askance, as they say. She's not my favorite type of traveler. She's kind of like, there are like poverty tourists who go to say, oh, look at me, I'm in the slum in Rio, I'm in the favela in Rio, look, I'm in Langa Township in Cape Town, posing with a baby. I call that poverty tourism. And then there's kind of, like sex tourism, which is not the kind that's necessarily just old white men going to Thailand. It's also white girls saying, hey, don't I know you, to the guy on the beach. So he is a dancer, he's a choreographer, he's a gymnast. Hello. What do you think when someone says that in America? Hi, how old is he? Hi, I'm 29, I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer, I'm a gymnast. He's every kind of ist. And of course, again, nothing against him, he's probably a lovely person, but my brain immediately went, con artist. And you, Ariella, are a fetishist of dark-skinned men. So I'm not liking him, might change my mind. You can tell me how you feel. I don't like her. I think this whole thing seems like, I swear to God, the rainbow's getting brighter. I have never in my life seen a rainbow this bright. If this thing takes off, I don't know, I'm just doing it for fun, but I'm saying, I'm going to see this as some kind of sign from God. It's literally the brightest rainbow I've ever seen. Okay. Anyway, enough about me. So, the whole baby thing is like, what? No, this is for drama. I don't think that I don't think there's any way she's gonna actually have that baby in Addis Ababa. I have not been to Addis Ababa, but I have volunteered in like a children's pediatric hospital in Lusaka, Zambia, and African hospitals. There's some areas of certain hospitals that might be okay, but you don't want to have your baby in Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa is a fascinating city. Ethiopia, I understand, is a beautiful country, and I really want to go there. But you don't have your baby. Don't have your baby there. It's silly. You have your baby in Addis Ababa because you have to have your baby in Addis Ababa. And she's like, oh, but I want him to be there. Hi, have you seen a video camera? You can even do it live. Don't. And so I think this whole thing is just creating fake drama with the mother and the father and everyone disapproving. And I bet you 10 to 1 fundamentally she's going to end up, I bet you 10 to 1 she's going to come back and she's going to have her baby in some private suite in some fancy hospital and, where her father is on the board or high up or helping to run the place in Princeton, New Jersey. The baby's not going to be born in Addis Ababa. I mean, if it is, I think it's just stupid. Again, nothing against doctors and nurses in these developing country hospitals are heroes and heroines. They're amazing. I mean, what they managed to do is incredible. I myself have been in a hospital that wasn't like a fancy hospital in a big city in India, but was a smaller city hospital, and it wasn't even the main hospital. It was like a little regional, like a little neighborhood hospital. They were wonderful. They were wonderful. I mean, I was like, oh my God. You didn't want to look too closely into the corners, but oh, good Lord, they treated you like so well. They were so caring. They're always like, rubbing your hair, putting a cold towel on your head. I mean, they're just amazing. You know, you really feel like they're doing this job from their heart. Yeah, it was actually kind of a great experience, and they made me better quickly. So, but anyway, I don't think that is going to happen. I give them a 15% chance of making it, or until Binyam's abs start to go. I don't know. You know, I just, this one is just kind of like, so far, I'm not interested. I don't like her demeanor. Yeah, I'm judgy. I decide right away if I like someone or don't like them. I told you. Okay. I'm just going to get this out of the way, just to mention it real quick so I can get to my favorite couple. Devin and Jihoon are going to be on next time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the percentage is for them right now, and that's about 5%. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but it's not looking good. She needs to stop already with the fillers before she starts looking like a black-haired Darcy. Not that Mama doesn't use fillers. I've used fillers and Botox. Okay? I'm not saying, but she used them very carefully, and she's starting to look odd, and she's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl, so I just don't want to see that happen. So I'm not that interested about what happens with them. I don't care, but we'll see. Maybe something will change my mind. Yep, that rainbow's still there, and it's still bright as it's, okay. Okay, Kenneth and Armando. Oh my God. First of all, let me just start out by saying they're a solid 80%. I love this couple. I mean, they are adorable. The age difference is absolutely fine. Once you're in your 30s, let's see, he's 31 and Kenneth is 57. Kenneth is a babe. I mean, and I think Kenneth is going to be a babe when he's 75. He takes amazing care of himself. Usually blonde guys tend to lose their hair. He is not losing his hair, honey. He's got fabulous hair, and he's just adorable. He's just aging fantastically. So I think that, you know, oh my God, I love it that really early on he, you know, had the children. It was so hard for gay men to have children, you know, back in the 90s. It was so tricky. And to get that little boy, and then, honey, to get those triplets. Oh my God. I mean, that's just, he's fantastic. I think he's amazing. I just, so far I love everything about him. So I hope we don't find something weird and horrible about his background, because I swear to God, lately, every season of 90 Days Fiance, there's been like, oh, this person, you know, whatever, I don't know, kills animals for fun. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sorry, that's horrible, but, you know, there's been so many bad things that come out about people, but not my Kenny. My Kenny. I have a little crush on him too. He's absolutely adorable. Okay, so he has a son, he has 3 daughters, and one of the daughters is Madison. Okay, now Madison and her, I think it's Cooper, her little boy, have been living with Daddy. And Madison, Madsy, Mads, let him go. You're not young. You need to let Daddy go and find love. He's devoted his entire life to you. I know it's been nice living with him. I'm sure he's helping you financially, you know, and I know that his finances are going to change when he moves to Mexico. But, honey, you got to let him go. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You're a lovely girl. You'll be okay. So that's really kind of the only drama with him moving to Mexico to be, and permanently, to basically liquidate his assets and move to be with Armando, who is 31, who currently lives in San Felipe, Mexico. I've been to San Felipe, and they're moving 4 hours away, so I imagine somewhere else on that coast, which is lovely. I'm sure they could probably get a really pretty villa that doesn't cost a fortune. And yeah, I think that they have a good chance of having a lovely life together. I mean, he could do his pet, you know, grooming, his pet spa thing, and, you know, that's always good business. And, you know, whatever else they choose to be together. But most importantly, I think that, you know, they could be life partners, they could be happy, they could really be in love. I think that they are absolutely adorable. I think that Armando is just, you just kind of want to put a blanket around him and bring him home and make him soup. He's also just so cute. And, his pain is so sincere when he talks about, I can't even imagine. His life has not been easy. You know, trying to come out to your family and having them say, no, get thee back in the closet. No, we don't accept this. And because he tried to get married, which happens, so many of my Latino friends who are gay, a lot of them have been married and have a child or even two. And it's because, boy, you'll do anything to make everybody happy. You'll do anything to just toe that line. And it's getting better in some countries. But it depends on where in Mexico, and again, beach resorts might be a little better. But the fact is, Armando's family is not going to be happy about it. That's going to be a problem. But hey, how many people have had to deal with that through the ages? I think they'll get over it. They love their son and they want their son. They're going to have to get over it. They're going to have to deal with it, because he cannot at this point go back in the closet. Okay. So he goes and he speaks to, he has his daughter, Hannah, and he has a daughter by the first wife. And then I forgot that, I guess it was right after they divorced, the wife died in a car crash. So he's the only one taking care of Hannah, along with his family, his parents and his sister. So how sad, because I think he really did, love her, his wife, like a sister or a friend or whatever, but he loved her. They had a child together. So you could just see the pain in his face when he's talking about these things. And it's very sincere. It's not fake. It's very sincere. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about, we're still on the subject of Kenneth and Armando, but we're going to talk about Armando's sister. Okay, bless her. I'm sure she's a nice person. She's not really comfortable with him coming out. She's like, but you showed us a different side of yourself. Yeah, well, gay guys usually do when they're young and they live in macho countries. So she's like, oh, you shouldn't do this to us. But, she sounds like maybe she'll come around. Okay, here is what she triggered in me. She triggered in me something that is rampant on 90 Days Fiance. Rampant. Okay. Sister was a telenovela fake crier. I hate fake crying. If your emotion is not at that level, there's other ways that you can express yourself without resorting to fake tears. And so many of these shows just push it, and they push it. And so now there's all these different ways of, forcing tears or trying to look like you're crying. And it drives me absolutely nuts. His sister was not really crying. I'm sure she was emotional, but she was doing the whole telenovela, eye blinking, eye squeezing, all the things. Hey, even telenovelas have really good actresses now who are great at crying. So I shouldn't say telenovela, but it's like she thought she was in a telenovela. So she felt like she had to be very emotional and cry. And it was not real. No, she was emotional. I'm not saying she wasn't emotional. I know she adores her brother. I have no doubt of that. But I don't like the fake tears. We have gone through so many fake tears. There are many different forms. There are many different ways to do this. And I was going to give you a little tutorial before we end this because, wow, this is a really long first show. Woo! Wonder who's still around. Don't forget, if you came in late, to give me a like or a dislike or a comment or a bad comment, but subscribe if you enjoy it, because all engagement is good engagement. So please. Anyway. So I've always been able to cry. Again, I'm a theater nerd, and I'm an emotional person, and I tend to cry, for real. But if I have had to in my life bring on fake tears, for example, either acting or some other situation where you're trying to, get out of trouble, yeah, I can bring the tears. I can bring the tears. And here's something I first of all want to say that you should look for to know the difference between real and fake tears. I'm sure most of you do, but then I think you're probably also looking at some people and you're like, oh, well, their eyes are red. I guess they are crying. Okay, real crying is usually, like 95% of the time, ugly. It's, your cheeks are swollen up and there's snot coming out your nose and your mouth does this. It's ugly. I mean, real, you know, real hysterical crying, profound crying that's that that comes from deep inside, like from your diaphragm. That it's ugly. It's not pretty. And there's way too many people on these shows, especially women. God, 90 Day Fiance and the Housewives franchise are full of this. It's and I'm going to use Stephanie because she's the queen of this. Stephanie never shed. She did not shed nary a tear on this entire season with her annoying self, faking being bisexual. Please, girl, be gone. I don't ever want to see her again. She was definitely one of my least favorite. And there were some very bad people on this before the 90 days. Okay, so it's this. It's you press the inner corners of your eyes to kind of start the redness from here. You do this. And then you look up and you blink a lot. And then you do this. The swiping of the non-existent tears. Really bad, like horrible acting is also this, which no one ever did when they were actually crying. No one ever actually did that when they were really crying. That's like, I just won Miss USA. That's bullshit. Yeah, and Stephanie was the queen of that. And then there was, you know, there was also, oh my gosh, in my impersonations, I forgot. Then we can leave the subject for now, but at least you know, you just keep an eye out for what, you know, remember fake crying, attractive, real crying, ugly, very unattractive. I forgot 2 very important impersonations from before the 90 days that should have gone at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to get them in just in time, so this is not an hour. Yikes. Okay, first of all, I no longer believe in love. I am Betty Med. And Betty hurt. You know what that is. So, yeah. But yeah, Big Ed was a good example of the man overachieving, trying to kind of really push the tears. Okay, so that is the end of the very first show of 90 Days. Hit that or quit that. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Elia. I'm glad that you decided to stop by. Do come by again. I will try to create content to start with on a weekly basis. And here's to your health, to your happiness, and to the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Bye.